Keto and crime, keto and crime. We uncover the grime on keto and crime. Keto and crime, keto and crime. Now is the time for keto and crime.
Oh man, y'all, was I wrong that there wasn't a lot going on in Friday, day, which would effectively be day 10 of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Basically, yes, there was no further evidence presented. What this day was basically the two sides arguing over what should be included to the instructions to the jury. Now, remember, there was originally a pool of 19 jurors listening to the evidence, 12 to actually deliberate, and then alternates. And then one got dismissed because of the joke. We remember that way back in week 1. And now there's 18 jurors listening to the evidence, but only 12 of them will actually deliberate. And I'm sure that will happen today, Monday, day 11 of the Kyle Rittenhouse trial, when we find out which jurors will actually deliberate. But there was a lot of arguing back and forth. And basically what it boils down to is that the whole charge of out after curfew was dismissed. I think I'd already previously mentioned that because no evidence was presented. But the prosecutor floated the idea of allowing lesser charges as alternatives to what he's already facing. Could possibly be allowed in. The defense was okay with some, but not okay with others. But basically what it boils down to is everywhere where Kyle is charged with first-degree homicide, reckless homicide, or just homicide, allowing second-degree in as a possible verdict or a possible charge in there as well. So basically, the judge did address Kyle and said that allowing the second-degree charges in would up his chances of conviction, but would also lessen his chances of a hung jury, which would, in most cases, call for a retrial. But I was surprised that Rittenhouse's defense attorney was actually in favor of second degree being included in some of the charges, particularly those relating to Anthony Huber and those relating to the reckless discharge of a weapon in relation to Richie McGinnis, who was kind of in the line of fire when Rosenbaum was shot. So I was really surprised, and I suppose it's just because he really thinks that the lighter sentence is definitely doable. Let's check that out and see what because as far as the first degree charges he's facing now, we know life in prison is the max there. But what does the second degree count take? Let's take a look at that. So this is from the website of a defense lawyer practicing in Wisconsin, and it really does break down the differences between first degree reckless homicide and second degree reckless homicide. Basically, first degree is a Class B felony, which we know carries up to life in prison, whereas, as you can see here, second degree carries it's a Class D felony. It can carry up to 25 years. In my opinion, still a significant amount of time. But I have a feeling that what his lawyers are trying to do is avoid the hung trial, the hung jury, and therefore have to fight the case again. I think that's what they're trying to do. And also kind of avoiding the possibility that the jurors might compromise. Like if they think if there's two jurors that are squabbling or two sets of jurors that are squabbling, they might say, well, if you find him not guilty of this, we'll find him guilty of this. That does happen sometimes in juries, and the judge himself even mentioned that. So I think they're just trying to mitigate the risk of either a hung jury or a compromise on one of the higher charges. I really think that they believe he's going to walk totally as not guilty, as do I. I don't see how you can't say that most of it was self-defense. The only charge that's up in the outer sphere for me is the illegal possession of a firearm for people under the age of 18. There's been some debate back and forth, even among the lawyers, about what the law was. I've heard as low as 16, you know, that it was all right for him to have the rifle. So I'll wait for the judge to be able to disseminate that and let the jury know what the actual law is. That is the only charge that I think might be a slam dunk for the prosecution. Just my opinion. But anyway, let's jump back in. So basically, that's the difference, and we'll see. The judge said that none of them should be surprised if he doesn't allow it, but it could be. So today I'll continue to watch as closing arguments by both sides. They've each been allotted 2.5 hours for closing arguments, and then the verdict will go to, the case will go to the 12 jurors selected to deliberate. And then we'll have our verdict. And National Guards, police departments all over the country, especially in larger cities in the Midwest, are rallying their troops and essentially to avoid any violence or rioting or looting that might take place as a result of the verdict. I hope none of that happens, and I do hope justice is served here. But we shall see. We shall see. And with that being said, I will bring you the verdict as soon as it's out. And until then, Keto and Crime, out.